welcome to another episode of the Bottom of the Stream Movie Show. My name is Adam.
My name is Nick. Welcome back. It's that time of week again where we search the bottom of the Netflix or Amazon Prime stream.
It is indeed.
To try and find you a hidden gem movie.
We're basically just searching streams now.
We are.
And we found a stream this week with a shark in it.
It has got a shark in it. More than one.
More than one, indeed. So we, this week, are watching a movie called Shark Lake, which is available in the UK on Amazon Prime. It is released in 2015. It is a 15. It runs for 1 hour and 32 minutes. Currently, it's rated at 3.4 out of 10 on IMDb. 3.4?
I think this movie should be delighted it is rated 3.4 and go home quickly.
I agree. Let's talk about this movie. This movie stars Dolph Lundgren. He plays a character called Clint Gray. And it is his third time on our little show.
It is. It's first for a while.
Yes. And what was the first one he was in? Blackwater?
Blackwater with Jean-Claude Van Damme.
He loves water on this show as well.
Oh, no. Oh, was that first or was the...
No, I think
Demon
He
one
Never
first?
Died was first.
Oh, yeah.
And then Blackwater maybe came a little bit later. They're both a long time ago. I think they were season 2 and 3, respectively. Most famous, obviously, for Rocky, He-Man.
Sure.
One of the two.
Both.
This movie also stars Sarah Malalacal Lane. She plays Sheriff Meredith. Said that right this week. I don't know if anybody spotted, but twice last week during the episode, I said Sheriff Meredith instead of Sheriff Meredith.
Brilliant. I love it.
None of us picked it up at the time, but when I was editing, I heard it.
I've not listened back to that yet, so I will
Also,
listen out.
The final credit on this movie is introducing Lily Brooks O'Brien as Carly. She plays the young daughter.
Okay, yeah.
It says introducing, but she's been in quite a few things.
You know how time works, right? This still could have been the first.
No,
name.
before this.
Oh, okay, fine.
And some after. She's in quite a lot of episodes of The Young and the Restless.
Right.
Which is a soap in America,
Like
I think.
a Joey Tribbiani soap.
Yeah. And she's also in The Big Show show.
Okay.
She plays The Big Show's daughter in The Big Show show.
Have you ever watched that?
I watched the first episode of it when it came to Netflix.
Okay.
And then thought my eyes deserve better than this. It was fucking terrible. Written by Gabe Bernstein and David Anderson and directed by Jerry Duggan. And currently this is Jerry Duggan's only attempt at directing a feature film.
Oh, no way.
Yes. He's directed lots of shorts and he's a cinematographer by trade, I believe.
Okay.
But this is the only the full-length film that he's ever made.
I see.
Do you have a one-word review of Shark Lake, Nick?
Yeah, I do.
Go on then.
He-Man punches a shark.
He-Man punches a shark. That happens at one point in this movie. Where does this movie start?
This movie starts with the sun rising over Lake Tahoe.
Is it Lake Tahoe?
Yes.
Okay.
And we get our titles.
We do. Drone shots of lake with credits is my first note.
Indeed.
That's exactly what we get.
And then we see some cops.
We do. We
making
meet
a
cops.
bus.
There's
And
lots of cops in this
I'm
film.
going to say, now maybe I didn't give this movie the best environment to thrive
Okay.
because I had to watch it on an iPad this week.
Right.
But I thought this movie was so dark.
Unnecessarily dark.
Even in the daytime.
Yeah.
There's some daytime scenes on the lake later where I was like, I had to turn the brightness up.
I think I've got it down in my notes a bit later on. A lot of stuff happens at night that shouldn't be happening at night.
Yes, and like I can kind of almost forgive it for the in inverted commas special effects scenes because it hides a few of the sins, but there is no need for this. I couldn't tell what was going on as these cops were making this bust.
Yeah, basically they're walking through the woods with their guns raised and they come across this cabin. Inside the cabin, there's no humans there, but there's lots of animals in cages.
Correct.
So there's like snakes and all sorts of illegal exotic animals in cages. And then they go into a bedroom and there's a little girl sitting on the bed.
Yes.
There's no adults there, but then all of a sudden they hear a van drive off outside and this man appears to have gotten away from them.
And we get a chase.
So we do get a very early van/police car chase.
But it's pretty... We're pretty much in the cabs, aren't we?
Yes. It's one of those where nobody's chasing anybody, but the lights are flashing by really quickly. And the chase culminates with the van crashing into the lake. He drives through a safety barrier and accidentally crashes into the lake.
I've just put, can't see much of this chase. What's with the really bad techno music?
Yeah, there is some really bad music all the way through this movie. we see a man emerge from the lake and get arrested.
Yes.
And this is Clint Gray. This is Dolph Lundgren's character. Cut back to the police station. We find out that the girl has no other family and nobody is coming for her, but childcare services are coming.
Yeah. And that's what the chief tells
Sheriff Meredith.
Sheriff Meredith. And
she's not even a sheriff. She's the deputy.
she is the deputy. You're right. And she's waiting with this little girl, basically.
Yes, she is.
Cut to
5 years.
5 years later.
We do, and we meet the same girl who's now 5 years older.
She's swimming.
She's swimming. She doesn't enjoy swimming. She doesn't want to go swimming. Her mum turns up. Her mum is Sheriff Meredith.
She's doing like her, not life saving, but like one of her distance badges.
She's got to get a deep end badge.
That's it.
She can swim. She can swim the width of the pool at the shallow end without touching the floor, but she's too scared to do it at the deep end. And her mum turns up, and her mum is Sheriff Meredith.
Yeah.
Who is not her mum, but seems to have adopted this child.
Adopted and raising her.
And yes. And has been for the last 5 years.
And she gives Carly a pep talk.
She does.
You can do it.
You can do it. Those boys over there can do it. You can do it. You're better than all the boys.
She says, doesn't she? You're going to be the kind of girl who...
Yeah. She says there's two types of girl in this
takes
world.
it or...
Gives it.
Proves it. Yeah, proves people wrong.
Yeah. And she talks around and I think she eventually does do it. Cut away to a prison and Clint is being released from prison. His 5-year sentence that I assume he got has been finished.
He's basically an animal trafficker.
He's an illegal animal tracker. Trafficker. Animal trafficker. Yeah, he gets released from prison. His sentence is over. Meredith finds out, and she also finds out that Clint wants to visit with Carly.
Supervised visit, yeah.
Supervised visit, yeah.
She basically goes to her boss and
who is the sheriff,
and says, "Can you pull any strings with the judge?"
Yeah, because I don't want him anywhere near my daughter.
Yeah,
even though she's his daughter. And
the sheriff sort of says, "Well, come on, he's done his time. He is her dad. He is entitled to see her.
Yes,
it's going to happen at some point.
Yeah, you have to be open to this possibility." Meanwhile, at the beach, it's a beach on the lake.
It's a summer at the lake montage.
It is. There's a montage. People are having fun. Everybody's having a great time.
And it's summery bad music, and then it turns into ominous bad music.
Because something is lurking in the water.
Indeed.
Then we meet an old couple. They're walking in the woods.
I think he's looking for gold.
Yeah, I think he was panning for gold in the water. So they were walking through the woods. They see a sign that says bears are active in this area.
Sure.
Which they ignore.
Yeah.
The lady doesn't want to ignore it, but the man's quite confident that there aren't any bears in this area. They get to the edge of the river. They set up camp. But the lady has unfortunately forgotten her iPad.
Oh, I thought she needed a badge.
She'd forgotten her iPad because she wanted to boast to her friend how beautiful this place was by taking pictures on her iPad. So she goes back to the car while he does some gold panning in the lake.
He finds some gold, doesn't he?
He does find some gold.
He finds a little nugget.
Yeah, in his first go.
Yeah, that's what.
Yeah. We stick with her. She's walking back through the forest, woods, whatever they are, and she hears screams. So she starts to run. She's an older lady in her 60s. She starts to run towards her husband's screaming voice, and she trips over and knocks herself out. And that is the first massive laugh of this movie. I was pissing myself.
Yeah. Twists her ankle.
She twists her ankle, knocks herself out.
Chased by zombies.
She then wakes up, manages to complete the rest of her journey, and finds her husband face down in the water with an arm off.
Face down, bloody dead.
Dead. He's proper dead. And his arms come off.
So then we cut to the cops arriving at the scene.
Yep.
Or they've been at the scene for a while.
Yep.
And they speculate it is a bear attack.
They assume it's a bear attack.
There are no witnesses to this.
There are not. And bears are, but we do know bears are active in this area.
And Deputy Sheriff Meredith.
Yeah.
Says, if it's a bear, why are there no bear tracks?
Yeah. She's the only one with any sort of logical thinking in this movie.
There's no shark tracks either.
There aren't any shark tracks, that is true. Sharks are not even in the equation at this point.
No.
She's just pretty convinced it's not a bear because there's no bear tracks. She also says that we need to rule out homicide because ripping people's arms off is a great way to kill them. The sheriff mocks her for that.
Okay.
And then, for the first time for me in the history of the show, we had an advert break at this point.
Yes, I would have had an advert break, yeah. I did. But it didn't really register with me.
It's strange because we're doing Amazon Prime movies now that we're going to get advert breaks. Cut back from the advert break, and Clint pulls up at his cabin, where he presumably lives, and I don't know if it's the same cabin from earlier.
I presumed it was.
I assumed it was.
So the way I've seen this is he's returned home having been released from prison.
Yeah.
And the mob is already waiting for him.
Yeah, there's a Russian gangsters waiting for him. 2 big dudes.
Didn't even have time to unpack.
Yeah. And he's like, we want you to... I think he'd been back a little bit because he'd been and done some shopping.
Maybe.
So he'd got a steak. They want him to go and see their boss.
He says the boss wants you back at work.
Yeah. The boss is actually called Don.
Yeah.
The Don.
Don.
Don. But he's Russian. He wants him back at work. He doesn't want to go back to work, so he starts cooking a steak and then beats the dudes up.
It's a bad fight as well.
Oh, it's so slow.
Like, it's really slow. It is a bit hard to see what happens, but it's so like someone throws a punch, stops, waits for the other person to throw a
duck
punch.
out of the way.
This is not good fight choreography.
It really isn't.
And I think my spirit sank a little bit at this point because I knew this was going to be the sort of film it is, but I'm at least thinking if I'm going to get anything out of it, it's going to be in things like at least the fight.
At least Dolph Lundgren's going to be fighting.
Yeah.
It's going to be fun. It wasn't. Yeah, it was a really slow fight. One of the dudes ended up with a broken arm. Yeah. He steals the gun off the other one and sends him packing.
He scares them off.
Yep. Meanwhile, Meredith and her daughter Carly have gone out for dinner to the local diner where they're discussing this potential bear. This girl's like 7, 8, 9. They're discussing.
She says all the kids at school.
All the kids are talking
about the bear.
They're all talking about this bear attack. What's happened, Mum? Tell me more about what's happened with this bear attack. And another customer who's sitting at the bar overhears this.
Just some like bear nerd.
Yeah, and he's like, "You know, bear attacks are very rare, don't you, cop? There's only been 27 this century in the world." He knows this because he's got a degree in oceanography.
Yeah, famous
where the bears live.
Yeah.
But that is handy for later on in the movie that this random guy just happens to have this degree.
And he's doing a paper on bears.
For some
or
reason.
sharks. I'm not really
some
sure.
Sort of animal. We then cut to a lakeside party.
It's a beach rave.
Beach rave.
Call it what it is.
I just feel weird calling it a beach when it's at a lake, not the sea.
It's still
I think you can still call it a beach. It just feels weird to call it
that. There's a load of horny young party goers.
There are indeed. 2 particularly horny ones head into the water, but one decides he needs to start a fire before they go in the water.
I just thought he fancied a bit of whittling before he got busy.
He starts very slowly trying to build a fire with his knife and a bit of wood, and cuts his thumb.
Yeah.
Handy when you're just about to go into a shark-infested lake. He doesn't know that though, but he does. He heads into this lake with a girl. They're going night swimming. They are both in their underwear. My next note says, suddenly he turns into a pool of red goo.
Yes.
So he just disappears and the lake turns red. And she starts screaming. That's another murder that we've missed, but it happened. 2 off-screen deaths so far.
Basically.
Then we come back to this man.
It's the oceanographer who was called Peter.
Yeah. He's going scuba diving in what I've written is very clear water.
This lake is always extremely shallow.
Yep.
And until it isn't. And is absolutely
crystal clear. Yes. It's very clear that they are swimming in a swimming pool.
He's quite a on edge scuba diver.
Yes.
So I've written a list of the things in this very quick sequence that he is scared by.
Go on.
Because you almost have these little jump scares one after each other.
Yeah.
So he's scared by a paddleboard.
Okay.
Or 2 paddleboards to be exact.
Him.
Yeah. A boat.
Which I think was his boat.
Yeah. A pair of pants or underwear.
Yeah.
Which I presume is the guy who got eaten the night before.
Presumably.
He picks them up on the end of a stick. He's then scared by the sun.
Yeah.
When he looks up. And then finally is scared by something presumably actually scary that he spots between a couple of rocks.
Yeah, we don't see what scares him.
That all happens in about 15 seconds.
He just keeps jumping all over the place. It's well funny. Meanwhile, out of the water, some bear hunters trank a bear.
There's actually a bear
there. There is actually a bear there. But we did know that bears were active in this area. And they trank a bear. So everybody thinks we've caught the bear. The bear's gone. No more death. Everybody's happy. Meredith gets a picture. She gets sent a picture. The oceanographer guy,
Peter Ocean,
comes back into her office and she says, it's all right, it's a bear. Look, here's my picture. And he says, it's definitely not a bear.
No, he's brought in a cool box.
Yeah, and he shows us something in a box.
Yeah.
We then cut to the sheriff. He's holding a press conference on the lakeside.
Right on the lake. This is perfect timing.
Yeah.
He's basically saying, guys, we've caught the bear.
Everybody's
Nothing to worry about.
Everybody's having fun behind him. There's
Go back to your
paragliders.
barbecues
People are singing, swimming, not singing.
Yeah.
Loads of stuff's going on. Suddenly, Sheriff Meredith and Peter Ocean turn up. They're screaming for everybody to get out of the water, interrupt this press conference.
And the sheriff's like, don't worry, I've sorted it.
The bear.
The
It's
bear's
fine.
sorted.
And she's like, everybody out of the water, everybody out of the water. Just as she says this, we cut to these two people on a paraglider.
Yeah.
And they get so close to the water, and then one of their legs just comes off.
Yeah.
And you don't see a shark.
No.
You see her leg, and then a stump where the leg was,
Yeah.
and really badly CGI'd blood pouring out of her
terrible.
leg.
All the CGI is terrible in this movie,
Yes, it
and
really
it just
is.
it gets worse as well.
Yeah. It's a shark. This is where it's revealed to everybody that there is a shark in the water. Peter Ocean gives us some background story on
He says,
there
look,
is a certain type of shark.
it's a bull shark,
They can survive in
fresh water.
water.
They can modify their systems.
Yeah. It's been known for them
Their
to be in
organs.
different lakes around the world and swimming upstream.
To which Meredith,
Which is true that I Wikipedia'd it, and bull sharks can survive in fresh water.
Meredith says,
Fine.
well, that's okay. The sharks, how did they get here?
Yeah, there's no access to the ocean into this lake. There's
Yeah.
no like access rivers or lake or anything like that. Somebody must have put it there. Meanwhile, the sheriff closes all the beach. He bans entry into the water. Everybody's like, stay out of the water. There's sharks in the water. Clint shows up at Meredith's house, where Meredith's mother sees him, speaks to him, but Carly sees him from a distance.
Mhm.
Carly's intrigued by her father. She doesn't really know him, but she's intrigued by him. Meredith then goes to chat to Carly about this. She's like, look, he is back. He is back. He is out there. If he approaches you, you can't talk to him. Go and find an adult.
Yeah.
Basically warning him against her. Cut back to Clint's house. He's back there with the gangsters have showed up again with Don this time. The boss has showed up. He's eating some of Clint's food. And Don says, look, you owe me a shark. I paid you for a shark 5 years ago, and I've never been given a shark. You owe me a shark. So I'm assuming this shark was in the back of this van?
Must have been when he
it drove
did the
into the
escape.
water?
Yeah. Because we don't see him like chuck anything in.
It was just a standard white van, though. It wasn't like any...
Yeah, the back was filled with water.
It must have been. I don't know, but anyway.
And then the shark opened the door
Yeah.
to let itself
swam
out.
Well, yeah. Maybe it's eaten its way through the door over 5 years because it's been dormant for 5 years.
When we get to how easily it got into this boat later, I'm sure getting through the back of a van would be no problem for this little shark.
Also true. Yeah, Don's like, look, you either owe me the money for this shark or you owe me a shark.
And you've got 24 hours.
You've got 24 hours. You need to deliver. And he takes the picture of Clint's got a picture of Carly, so he takes that with him as like a threat. I hated this guy. At the sheriff's office, a British TV host shows up who works for the BBC.
Gareth Ross.
And he hosts a show about sharks.
Well, I think he goes and catches big fish.
Big fish. And he offers to catch their shark for free, providing he can film his TV show there.
And chat up all the women.
And he's got the worst British accent I think I've heard since Mary Poppins. Because that guy's not British either.
No.
And it's terrible. It's so bad.
I'm shocked.
So yeah, he's going to be... Do you remember... What was that Christmas...
Pottersville.
There was a similar guy turned up in that
to
who was like...
Get the Sasquatch.
He was a TV host that came to...
He was Nelson Mandela's friend.
Basically that... Yeah. It's basically that guy.
But not played for laughs.
But absolutely nothing in this movie is played for laughs. That's one of my biggest things with it. Meredith goes to see Clint. She goes into his house, gun drawn. She's ready to... I don't know what she's going for, but she's ready for him. But he's not there.
She does find, I've put in big letters because I had no idea what it was, a clue.
A clue. What was the clue?
The bolt.
Oh, yes.
She picked up.
Yeah, she finds a weird... It turned out to be an underwater shotgun bolt.
Yes, which she discovers by using Wikipedia.
She does. She
to do her police work.
He's not there, but he is there. He's just out at the back. He's out the back on the lake.
He's putting
preparing his
weapons
boat,
together.
getting ready for going in his boat. Cut back to Gareth, the British guy. He's interviewing a hot blonde chick.
Yeah, he is.
And She's like, he's trying to tell her that
He's
he's
like-
their big local hero.
He
and
said, "Babe,
she's
I've
on
got
a
to go and
bachelor party.
catch this shark, and then I'm going to come and join your
Bachelorette party. Yeah. Weird. The sheriff tells him, look, I don't care what you do, I don't care how you do it, you just need to catch this shark.
Yeah.
So they go out on the lake. The sheriff on his boat with the TV host, they all go out together.
And his cameraman, yeah.
Yep. Meredith then says to Peter Ocean, could a shark have survived in the lake undetected for the last 5 years? And he's like, yeah, maybe. Why all of a sudden, the same day that Clint gets released from prison, it starts attacking people, I don't know, but
It knew.
it just knew.
He told it to.
Meanwhile, back on the lake, Gareth spots the shark. He exaggerates to camera what he's not telling the sheriff. So he says to the sheriff, it's about an 8-foot shark, it's a baby. But then when he goes on camera, he's like, it's a 13-foot monster, I'm going to go and catch it.
Lake Tahoe is 496.2 kilometers squared.
Right,
And
okay.
at no point do they ever have a problem finding this shark. It's always exactly
I've
where
written that
they
down
need it
later
to
because they
be.
say that later on as well. I think they call it 200 square miles, which is about the same.
Yeah.
But yeah, nobody ever. The shark's always there.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
always exactly where they need it to be.
So Gareth gets in the water with his cameraman, and then pretty much instantly gets eaten by a shark.
Yeah.
Nothing really happens. He just gets attacked and eaten by a shark.
Or did you see how fake?
Yes.
So not only the shark, but how fake the divers are superimposed,
Yeah.
which I didn't notice when Peter Ocean was in the water
No.
earlier, but certainly for the
Yeah.
BBC guys,
These-
no one in any of these shots is
the
in
lake.
any water.
No.
I'm not even sure the water's in water.
They might be in a swimming pool, but they're certainly not in a lake. The big reveal at this point, though, is that there are 3 sharks in this lake because they all attack Gareth and his cameraman. I think the cameraman gets killed as well, if I'm right.
I love it when the sheriff just shoots the lake.
That's my next note. The sheriff starts randomly shooting the lake.
Die, lake!
He's just firing bullets into the lake. He
Where
doesn't know that
two
these 2 guys
people-
are dead.
Yeah.
It's so funny. So stupid. The sheriff then says, look, I'm going to fill this lake tomorrow with every shark hunter and every fisherman I can find. $10,000 per dead fish is the offer that he's going for. We just need to get these sharks out. He knows now there's 3. He sees 3 of them.
Meredith and Peter review the footage.
Yeah.
And they explain that the sharks are working together.
Yes.
Like one of them's the bait and then the other 2.
That's what they did. Yeah,
Turn
one
up
baited
and-
and the other 2 killed him.
Uh,
It's a mum and 2 pups.
Yeah.
That's how they describe it. So she must have been pregnant when she went into the lake because there is no male shark in this lake.
Yeah.
Meredith then says to Peter Ocean, are they evil? Or is it just their nature to kill people?
And Peter
Peter's
does.
like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Peter
Neither.
says it's a mum protecting her kids.
Yeah, you're doing exactly the same thing they're doing. And so he's like, no, they're not evil, and they're also don't like eating humans. They just protect their own protection. Then Meredith's mum, grandma, if I've written her, goes to walk the dog.
I loved this. It was so good.
So stupid. He goes to walk the dog. While she's gone to walk the dog, Carly sneaks out of the house.
Well, first she's looking through her dad's police file.
She finds the police.
Dolph
finds
Lundgren
where
has
he
not
lives.
been in this for about 45 minutes
Yeah,
by this point.
Yeah, at this point, he's not been in it for long.
I reckon he's had 5
minutes of screen
screen time in
3 or 4 lines.
the first 55 minutes of this movie.
Yeah. So the grandma goes out to walk the dog. Carly sneaks out because she's found out where Clint lives. And the dog somehow this tiny dog gets away from this old woman.
Because some no good kids are letting off fireworks.
Yeah, and they throw a stick. At
No,
a dog.
he pulls the
was it a
spent
stick?
firework out of the ground and lobs it in the lake, so the dog, chases it.
But the dog had already gotten away from her at that
Yeah.
point. It pulled away from her. She shouldn't be in charge of a dog.
No.
If a dog that small
She's-
can get away from you, you shouldn't be in
Also,
charge of
the
a dog.
grandma has gone from sort of strong matriarch
Yeah.
figure, because earlier in the movie she sent Clint away from the house,
Yeah.
to doddery old lady
Yeah, doddery old.
in the space of
Yeah.
3 scenes. Because dogs famously pretty good at swimming.
Yeah.
He would have come back.
He would have come back.
She's like, oh no, Bruce, or whatever the dog's called. So
The dog was called Oliver.
Oliver. So she immediately follows the dog into the
She goes
lake
in the lake.
in fully
Fully
clothed.
clothed.
What was she going to do if she caught the dog up?
Don't know. Meanwhile, my next note says Peter Ocean and Meredith do some terrible flirting with each other.
It's hard.
They're falling for each other, but it's terrible. Meredith gets home, looks out of the window, and sees her mother in the lake just swimming. And so she panics because she knows there's sharks in this lake. She goes out there with her shotgun and her mother gets out of the lake, but she is being chased by a shark.
Yeah.
I don't know if the dog survived. I don't know if we ever saw the dog again.
Never see the dog again.
And Meredith unloads 12 shotgun rounds from one shotgun into a shark, point blank.
Which has come very shallow to the
Very
shore
shallow.
of the
She's
lake.
not even in the lake. So she point blank. This shotgun holds 12 rounds, apparently, because I counted the bullets. There wouldn't be a lot left of a shark after having 12 bullets in it. But then Peter says, okay, we need to get it sent away for an autopsy for some reason. I imagine she absolutely obliterated the thing.
This is the point where I'll just put, why is this film so dark? And I don't mean in tone.
Somebody then finally noticed that Carly isn't there.
Finally.
After she must have been gone for a couple of hours by this point.
I just put this, at this point when I put this movie has fully dropped off a cliff in the last 20 minutes.
100%. 100%. They figure out by process of elimination that Carly only knows 2 places in the world, so must have gone to her dad's house.
Yeah.
So they go there again. The cops go there again. Or a cop goes there. He's not there, though.
Nice.
He's not there this time. So when the cops show up, Carly freaks out a little bit. She goes to hide on his boat.
She does.
So she's hiding on his boat. The cop shows up. Clint comes back. Doesn't go in the house. Goes straight to the boat. And the cop comes up behind him and tries to arrest him.
Says you're arrested for kidnapping Carly, whatever.
Yeah, Carly the kid.
And he says, what do you mean?
Kidnap. Has she been kidnapped?
Is she okay?
Is she okay? And then she just comes wandering out of the boat.
And then,
Which doesn't look good for Clint, to be fair.
So he instantly beats the cop up and chucks him in the lake.
The cop gets distracted. He beats him up, puts him on his ship, drives the boat out the lake, and throws him in the lake. Presumably,
it's not going to look good on your
murdering this cop.
Parole sheet.
I assume, because I don't think we ever see him again either.
I think he might have stumbled out of the lake.
Oh, did he? Oh no, I think you're right. I think he did. Attempted murder, at least then. Carly and Clint then have their reunion scene.
Clint says to her, "Look, you can't come with me.
Yeah,
you've got to go home.
You've got to
live
go.
with your mum."
Yeah, exactly. You don't live with me. You live with her. I'm no good for you.
And she says, "I knew you were nice."
Yeah. Okay, lovely. Meredith and Peter then go out on Peter's boat.
She's really disappointed with the size.
It's got a terribly small boat. It's called the Fighting Chicken as well. Yeah, she's like, is it only this big?
All you've got.
Yeah. But before they go out, they meet a crazy guy on a jet ski. It's nighttime, by the way. They're going out on the lake.
He's
with
going
sharks.
shark hunting. He wants the reward.
Everybody is on a jet ski. So Clint's going out at night. They're going out at night.
Yeah.
The jet ski guy's going out at night.
Yeah.
Why don't we wait until the morning?
Yeah.
Any of us. This is the point where we're told that the lake is 200 square miles.
Yeah. They get 2 meters down the road.
And it's also nighttime. And they're also looking with tiny torches.
Yes.
But guess what they find? But before they find that they're out on their boat, and then this jet ski guy out of nowhere
just crashes into them.
He goes flying.
But the way it was cut, it was like they've literally just left the port. They've got 2 meters down.
Not far out at all.
And then this jet ski guy just goes through the back of
plows
their
into
boat.
them in this 200 square mile lake. The boat explodes. The jet ski explodes. All 3 people go flying. Everybody's in the water.
Also, they're right on top of the sharks.
They're also right on top of the sharks because they instantly eat the jet ski dude.
Yeah.
Luckily,
Meredith has to reel Peter in.
Meredith gets back on the boat that had recently blown up.
Yeah.
Peter then gets pulled back in because he's roped up.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh, we need to go home. This is crazy. What's just happened? With our boat's exploded and then it's miraculously put itself back together. And we've been in the water and we shouldn't be. Let's go home."
And she's like, "Nah,
we can't go home.
We're sinking. Remember that jet ski?"
Also, the boat's sinking, and also we need to keep looking for Carly. So the boat does start sinking at this point.
I forgot the word life jacket.
Okay.
And in my notes wrote, Peter has put on his boat parachute.
Oh, wow. They do the
That's
Titanic.
what this movie did to me.
They do the Titanic thing, don't they? They're both grabbing onto a tiny bit of boat.
They do, and they reference it. One of them says, "I've had enough of playing Titanic."
Peter then's like, "Oh, I need to make a weapon." So he grabs a fishing net,
Yeah.
takes the net bit off, and he's just got a stick at this point.
She's still got a gun.
She's still got a gun.
Because she is a sheriff.
She's the sheriff. He's got a stick. She's got a gun. The shark, they're both holding onto like a life ring, and the shark is right underneath them.
Yeah.
And then suddenly it attacks them.
It nibbles Peter a bit.
It nibbles his leg. He bashes it with his little stick.
Well, no, first, the shark specifically, it's clever. It disarms Meredith.
Yeah, it does.
It takes the
takes
gun out
the gun off her hand. It bites Peter's leg. He fights back with his homemade little bit of stick and kills the shark.
Kills it dead pretty easily.
He just hits it a couple of times on the head. And you just see the shark just fall away into the water.
And they're like, oh, we're safe.
We're safe. So Meredith's fine. She's like, oh, thank God we're safe. And then the other shark just eats Peter.
Yeah, takes him down.
He's done. Peter Ocean's gone.
These shark effects are awful.
Oh, so bad.
Like, I wasn't expecting much. I really wasn't expecting much. But I was shocked at how bad the special effects were.
I've seen quite a lot of shark movies.
Yeah.
And I was expecting this one to be a little bit more high end than some of the ones I've seen.
Me too.
But it isn't.
I thought Dolph Lundgren gives... Oh, God. I thought Dolph Lundgren would give us a certain level of quality.
Yeah, but it doesn't. It just happens to be in this terrible movie.
This is the sort of movie you expect Dolph Lundgren to be in.
Yeah.
But this feels like he is slumming it.
100%, yeah. These sort of movies...
It's not a high-quality shark movie.
This movie's 10 a penny. There's hundreds of thousands of shark movies, and they all look terrible. But this one's got Dolph Lundgren in.
Yeah.
So I was expecting it to be up on that next level, but it isn't.
No.
It's as bad as all these other shark movies that we've seen. Meredith's just about to shoot the last shark, the one that's just eaten her friend. But she's plucked one-handed from the water by Clint from behind. And she's saved onto their boat, where she's reunited with Carly.
And Carly instantly says, "Oh, Mum, Daddy didn't do anything. I came to see him."
She tells him the story.
And Meredith's a bit taken aback.
Yeah, she's a bit surprised. She has a bit of a chat with Carly, and he's like, "I would never take her away with Clint." Sorry, and she's like, and he says, "I would never take her away from you. I know that you're the best thing for her. You're the best thing that's ever happened to her. You need to be raising her. I would never do that."
But you just say, "I do want to be part of her."
But I do want to be part of her life, which is fair enough. And then suddenly the shark attacks the boat.
The quite small shark.
The biggest boat in this movie.
Yeah. It's got it downstairs and everything. This is a proper boat.
Yacht, yeah. And this shark headbutts this yacht, and this kid goes flying.
It headbutts the porthole downstairs and breaks it. And it was so funny.
And the ricochet of that makes Carly fly into the water.
Yeah. It's so bad. It's janky as anything.
Really janky. Clint goes in, and even the water coming through the porthole's fake.
Yeah.
That's CGI.
Yeah.
Clint dives in to rescue her, does rescue her, gets her back on the boat, and then wrestles a shark.
Ivan Drago throws haymakers at the shark.
He literally wrestles it to death.
It bites his shoulder a bit.
It does bite his shoulder a little bit. It takes a chunk out of him. Meredith then dives into the water.
She's got that
this
underwater
kid's life at danger by leaving her on her own on a sinking ship.
But she's now armed with the underwater Russian bolt rifle.
Yes.
And she executes the fuck out of that fish.
She kills the last shark. And then the boat sinks.
Yes.
So that's both boats have now sunk.
And a jet ski.
Yep. And a jet ski. The next morning, they managed to get to shore on a plane life raft.
Yeah.
The sort of thing you find from a plane. I don't know why that was in the boat. They managed to get to... It's taken them all night, but they managed to get back to the shore where they meet a jogger whose phone they borrow to call it in.
And Meredith says to Clint, just...
The police are coming.
Get out of it.
Clear off. And he's like, no.
I'm done running.
I'm done running. I'm going to stay. I'm going to be in Carly's life. The actual sheriff then turns up, takes Clint away. After he's been patched up,
but Meredith's like telling her this is what happened. He's not so bad, and I kind of presumed Clint was going to help them with their inquiries.
Sat on the back step of an ambulance and got his shark bite strapped up. He didn't have to go to hospital, and then the policeman took him away. Also, the gangster Don is in the back of a police car. He's been arrested
for what?
I don't know. And also,
why is he on the scene?
Why is he there at all? Yeah. And the last line of this movie is, I think it's Clint says, "Oh, what a really good night. We cleaned up the lake and the streets."
And then we just cut to a drone shot of presumably Clint driving away in his truck.
Yeah.
So he's not had to help.
Not been arrested. Not had to go to hospital. Leaving his daughter and Sheriff Meredith. and that's where your movie ends.
It's so half-assed.
Fucking unbelievably half-assed. There's plenty of shark movies that don't have any kind of story.
Yeah.
And this one just attempted to and failed miserably.
It's like someone got bored of making this movie.
Yeah. It really
20
is.
minutes into it.
Yeah.
And went, I'm contractually obliged to finish it off.
It's almost like they lost faith in it whilst making it. It's abysmal. It's a terrible movie.
And it's like, we've only got Lundgren for 3 days.
Yeah. Let's only give him 3 scenes and 3 lines.
See what we can do. Massively disappointing for me because I wasn't expecting a good movie, but I was expecting to have fun. And I didn't have fun.
That's my biggest issue with it, is this is a shark movie. They should be fun.
Yeah.
I get it with any other kind of horror movie or anything. You can do serious movies. You cannot do, in this day and age, a serious shark movie. You've got to be fun. You've got to. And when that guy got bitten when he was gold panning, and that bit was played for laughs a little bit. So I was like, maybe it's going to lighten up a little bit. It's one of the darkest shark movies I've ever seen. It takes itself far too seriously.
Yeah.
So far too seriously.
What do you reckon Dolph Lundgren's total screen time is in the end? I reckon it's 15 minutes.
If that. I'd be surprised.
And it's an hour and 35-minute movie.
I'd be surprised if it's that. 10, 15 minutes at the most. 4 or 5 lines. Yeah, it's that bit of a monologue at the end when he's talking about her staying, keeping the daughter.
And when
you just get wet a couple of times.
Yeah. When the shark charges that porthole,
just destroys that boat with one hit.
Yeah.
This baby shark.
We are not talking Jaws here.
No. The mother shark was only 5 years old. Oh. So the babies could have only been that at the most. Tiny. No, they're not big sharks. They're not like great whites. They're small, very powerful bull sharks.
This film is bull shark.
This film is bull shark. That should have been a one-word review. Fucking bull shark.
Just really disappointing. Like I say, I wanted fun, and I didn't have fun.
No, it's bad. It's really bad.
Yeah.
There's lots of good, fun shark movies out there. This is not one of them.
And look, on everything this, judging by what it said on the tin,
yeah,
it's got the ingredients are there.
Yeah, they are. But the story's and it's non-existent.
It's pompous and
the characters have no depth whatsoever. They're not real humans. There's no depth to
when that British documentary guy
what
comes
the
in.
hell was that?
Yeah, this is bad.
This is a really bad movie. This is one of... It's up there. It's up there with one of the worst we've seen in a while. What's the best thing about it?
I suppose, I mean, the lady who played Sheriff Meredith, she's fine.
She's fine.
You kind of feel like, I don't think she was a bad actress.
No. I'll tell you who was bad. Peter Ocean.
Yeah, he was bad.
He was really bad.
Yeah.
The kid was all right.
Yeah. I'm struggling to get many positives out of it, unfortunately.
Same. It's not good. What would you change? What would you change?
More Dolph Lundgren.
More Dolph Lundgren, more fun.
If you can't show me, if you haven't got the money or the effects to do sharks, you don't have to show the sharks.
No.
Do it all off screen.
Yeah.
You can still do a better movie doing that, I think.
Yeah. Just have some fun with it. Do what you want. Even if your effects are terrible, just make them funny.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Like when that woman's leg gets bitten off, that's funny. Just do more of that.
Yeah.
Stupid movie. Stream table.
A waste of everyone's time. 100%
is a waste of everyone's time. It's the third film of the season. It's going into the stream table. Would you like me to read through what we've got currently?
Sure.
Number 2 is Nessie and Me, and Office Invasion is winning. Where does this one go?
I didn't think I would be saying this. My presumption wasn't that this is where this would land before I click play on it, but I think this is the worst movie we've seen so far.
I think you're right. I think it is. I think our 2 lake-based movies are the 2 worst movies we've seen so far.
But give me Nessie and Me over this.
Yeah, agreed. It's unforgivable that this isn't more fun.
Yeah.
I think that's my problem with it. It should be more fun than it is, and I can't get past that. Right, do you want to pick next week's movie?
Let's do it. I'm excited to see what we get.
It's a short episode, this one. What sort of thing do you want?
I think something a bit weighty, a drama maybe.
A weighty drama?
Yeah.
Okay.
Something we can get our teeth into, unlike the shark this week.
Shall I give Robin a spin? See what he can give us? Robin has picked us a movie called Unknown Origins.
Okay.
I felt like when I first saw that, we'd already done that movie.
We have done a movie called Origins Unknown,
We have.
which was awful. It was a space movie with, was it Katie Sackhoff?
Yeah, he lost that season, didn't it? It was bottom of the stream that season.
It was
season 6
really
or 5,
boring.
somewhere around there.
Okay, well, that's not what this is.
That's not what this is. This is a Spanish movie. What always do well on this show?
Spanish movies.
Spanish movies. Do you want a synopsis?
Yeah.
Ooh, do you want the long one or the short one?
Short one.
Madrid, 2019. A serial killer is spreading chaos. Anonymous people with no apparent connection are being murdered while imitating the first appearance of the most famous superheroes.
Oh, okay.
Sounds interesting. Yes, a Spanish movie from 2020. It's an hour and 36 minutes long. Do you want to know the IMDb rating?
Yes, please.
6.1.
Whoa!
That's high for us.
It's like double Shark Lake.
It literally almost is. I don't know. Spanish movies always do well on this show, and that sounds like an interesting synopsis. This could be a contender, Nick.
Wow, we've currently got the table topped by Office Invasion. So
We have indeed.
let's see how this does.
We've got Netflix at the top and Amazon below.
Yeah.
We'll see how this one goes. I was worried when we started that we'd have like a set divide between the two. So hopefully that doesn't happen. So yeah, go out and watch Origin Unknown. No? Yes? Is that the one?
Unknown Origins.
Don't watch Origin Unknown.
You're going to get... I was very confused here.
Do not watch Origin Unknown. Watch Unknown Origins. And in the meantime, check us out on Instagram and Letterboxd at BOTS_podcast. If you want to drop us an email, our email address is bottomofthestream@gmail.com and our website is bottomofthestream.com. On our website, you will find every episode we've ever recorded, all the streams tables, loads of other cool stuff, and you can even get some merch if you want to buy a Bottom of the Stream
Fishing rod.
After you've done that, head over to Patreon, patreon.com/bottomofthestream. On there, for £5 every month, you will get early access to episodes. You'll get bonus episodes. You will get loads of other cool stuff and exclusive access into Discord. And you will also get a wild card, which means you can pick the movie you want us to watch. If you pick the best one of the season, you'll win a prize. Wild cards are in play, I'll reiterate to our Patreons.
Amazing.
And then when you've done all of that, head over to Discord. The Discord is a wonderful group full of wonderful people where you will make friends, you will have fun. We play games, we do watch-alongs. We've got all sorts of cool shit going on in the Discord. The Discord link will be in the bottom of the show notes.
If you can spare a few minutes, please consider leaving us a rating and review or a comment. Anyway, you can do any of those things on our podcast. We are on all those places like Podbean, Podchaser, Spotify, Apple Podcast, YouTube Music. Come listen to us, come watch us, leave a comment, leave a rating. It really helps get the word out about our show.
It certainly does. And don't forget our weekly streaming news and chat show that appears every week on YouTube and on your podcast feeds. Check it out on YouTube. We're excited by growing our YouTube channel, so we'd really like it if we could grow it a bit more. So yeah, that's available every Monday. This show's available every Thursday. So come back here or there on Monday for Bottom of the Stream with Adam and Nick.
Cheers.
Bye.